then I spoke to my son with David, and my son lied. And my son lied. And my son lied.
Stop it. Get some help.
To help me, he don't give a shit. Like, he want to play me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was me and it's not me, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. So I came on the internet and I exposed him.
What? Come on, man. Stop the cap.
So David's family reached out to me and was like, we're gonna make sure he takes lie detector tests. We're gonna figure this shit out. So David went and David took a lie detector test today, and he passed. He passed with the person that I went to, and he passed with the person that he went to in Chicago. So David called me, his family called me, everybody told me David passed the test. He is not lying about, doing that. If I agree with the test because I went to, and I'm a woman by my word, I'd apologize. So I talked to David on the phone for like a couple hours, and then I spoke to my son with David, and my son lied. And I don't know why he lied. And I feel bad. I do feel bad. As embarrassing as this is, I feel bad that, what happened to David happened to him and everybody calling him names. I really, truly do feel bad. But all I ever genuinely wanted was for him to help me. That's it. Like, all the diss tracks and all that shit, like, that shit was just giving me, he's guilty. So it just wasn't helping me. It wasn't helping my case. So I was strong on, having my son back and standing on what my son said. Because at the end of the day, I don't know why he said that shit. I don't know where that shit came from. Like, I still got to sit down and talk to him. But we talked to him for a couple hours. And, I don't know, he made it up, said something like he just didn't know what to say to him pooping in his pants. So he just said whatever. So he just making shit up. My hard questions. No,
I'm asking you about the retraction.
I already answered that. I already told you.
You know what that retraction, you know what you said in that entire retraction? He said he missed me. He said he was going to do away with the lawsuit.
That's how he manipulated me.
And so you allowed a man that allegedly touched your son to manipulate you and back you in a corner from a phone call after you blasted him on the internet over a lie. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you're manipulated. Brittany, I'm going to have to ask you to leave right now.
Perfect.
Son got raped. So when you talk, no, my son got raped.
How do you know?
My son got. Listen, it's so sad.
You believe the screws.
It's so sad
you believe
that you,
him falling on the stick.
as a victim of you as a victim.
That's why I'm able to sit here.
Of you
Your
as
son
a
told
because
lies.
I would
Four
feel
lies,
like no.
Brittany.
My son is 6 and is processing trauma.
4.
He's processing trauma.
The hospital said there was no penetration.
Man, hospital.
Do you realize after?
This is important. I should have let this play. Shit.
Woman's hymen has been broken.
He don't have no hymen.
He has anal fissure.
He
has anal. The hospital said there was no penetration.
Man, the hospital.
Do you realize after a woman's hymen has been broken?
He don't have no hymen.
He has anal fissure.
He has anal fissure. They would have.
Your LTTV, Blunt Talk with LT, back at it with another video. All right, so this time we got a reaction to Tasha K interviewing, what is this girl's name? FTN Bay. She lied on Doodie Low. She continues to lie on Doodie Low. If y'all seen the introduction where she confessed, where she retracted her statement, said her son lied.
And then I spoke to my son with David, And my son lied. And my son lied. And my son lied.
Stop it. Get some help.
To help me, he don't give a shit. Like, he want to play me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was me and it's not me, and I'm just free.
Already said, and yeah, heal within 2 weeks. Did you not hear what I said?
No, not for a child.
All right, we're gonna get back into the reaction in a second. All right, so how do you admit to lying, or not to lying? You admit that you were wrong. You confess that the man passed the lie detector test. You say your son lied, and then you double down in this interview and then try to attach these allegations to the man after he beat it because he's trying to sue you for defamation. This case, this individual, FTN Bay, represents the worst type of women out there, the women that people should avoid at all costs. Why men preach having standards and not just having minimal attraction being the barrier to entry. Because she's a single mother. How am I going to put this? You know what? I'm not. Let's get into the video. Y'all see for yourself.
Like, no, my son is 6 and is processing trauma.
4.
He's processing trauma.
The hospital said there was no penetration.
Man, the hospital.
Do you realize after a woman's hymen has been broken?
He don't have no hymen.
He has anal fissure. He has anal fissure. And they would
have been healed within 2 weeks. Did you not hear what I said?
No, not for a child. Not for a child with a grown man's penis.
I took him.
We're talking about blood.
First of all,
we're talking about him bleeding from penetration.
Yes, and he did.
Blood in 2 weeks.
He did bleed. And he did bleed. He said when he used the bathroom, he bled. Listen, I'm going to give you that respect right now. I'll play the clips of my son telling what happened. I ain't doing it on here.
Okay.
I'm not doing that on here. Okay. But you coming at me and attacking me like I'm
not
lying.
attacking
but
you.
I already
You've been sitting here aggressive the entire time.
Now, it seemed like Tasha K learned her lesson because she continues to tell this girl to say allegedly, as she continuously says, he raped my son after confessing and admitting. She confessed to having a phone call with this man, having the child on the phone call too. If you really believed that he touched your son, you're not going to have him on the phone call speaking to the man who is his... God damn it. How am I going to even say these words without getting this shit demonetized? It's already going to get demonetized, but you know what I mean? His abuser.
Because
you're waiting to pop. What are you waiting to pop for? I gave you a platform to tell your story, and you're not going to attack me on my platform.
You're not letting me tell it.
No, you want me to ask the questions you want to ask. These are hard questions. I give you courage for even sitting here. They are hard.
They're not hard questions.
Because you want to move on.
They're not hard questions. No.
I'm asking you about the retraction.
I already answered that. I already told you that.
You know what that retraction, you know what you said in that entire retraction? He said he missed me. He said he was going to do away with the lawsuit.
That's how he manipulated me.
How he manipulated you. That's absolute bullshit. If he touched your child and you were trying to press charges on him with this bullshit ass audio, and then he had a conversation with you and manipulated you out of it, stop the cap. His family went, okay, we're going to get into all the audio. That's why I played that part first, because that was the retraction.
And so you allowed a man that allegedly touched your son to manipulate you and back you in a corner from a phone call after you blasted him on the internet over a lie. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you're manipulated. Brittany, I'm going to have to ask you to leave right now. Without further ado.
All right, so that was the end of it. That was at the boiling point. Tasha K, she was calm. She was patient. She allowed this girl to speak. She never looked her in the eye for some reason. She was constantly, I'm not saying Tasha K didn't look her in the eye. FTN Bay never looked her in the eye. She was always looking down. She was very weird with the way she handled and conducted herself during the interview. She's very rude. When Tasha K was trying to ask her a question, she would not let the question come out. Let's get into the interview and let's break this down. But this is a prime example of women that you need to avoid. This man spent 4 months with this woman, and he's like, fuck it, I'm gone. And then she pulled this shit to try to keep him reeled in.
Like I said, I don't want to hear no BS in the comments about Tasha. This is too sensitive, okay? You've been warned, all right? Let's get it popping.
Brittany Elder, okay, a.k.a. FTN Bay or whatever, you know. When she makes a post, you make a post. She makes a post, you make a post. And then you got millions of viewers, you know, commenting. 3 screws.
Yes.
Welded together, which means you have to take a blowtorch.
Yeah.
Take 3 screws that are obviously pointed because screws go in the wall, okay? And you take a blowtorch and weld them together until they melt and harden. And then you ram them into a 5-year-old child's anus. I want people to vividly see this, and I know it's graphic. And she didn't find out until a month later.
She said 2 months.
2 months, a month or 2 months. But I did see her because she said it happened in September, October.
She said it happened October 6th.
Like I'm like, my heartbeat. I'm like, what you talking about? And then he say, Alex put something up, something there. I say, what? What are you talking about? So I'm like, what are you talking about? Alex did what? What was it? He says, it was a little spiky thing. I said, where'd she get it from? I don't know. I said, what color was it? Silver and gold. I said, okay. Freaking out, because I don't know what's going on. I'm asking questions like, how did you feel? Did you like it? Were you guys playing? Like, what were y'all doing? I don't.
Did you like it? Why would you ask him if he liked it? Hold on.
He says, it was a little spiky thing. I said, where'd she get it from? I don't know. I said, what color was it? Silver and gold. I said, okay. Freaking out, because I don't know what's going on. I'm asking questions like, how did you feel? Did you like it? Were you guys playing? Like, what were y'all doing? I don't get it. And he said, I said, how did you feel? Like, how did you feel? He said, I felt sad. I said, why? He said, because no one had ever done that to me before.
Why in the fuck would you ask a child if he liked it when he was saying that a man allegedly put little spiky things up his ass?
So I'm like, what? We can't lie on Alex, okay? Because if she didn't do it, we can't say that she did it. Because it's bad, really, really bad. And you can't.
Now, this video is a reaction from Tasha K, Tasha K's channel. The link will be in the description to the full video that we're reacting to from Tasha K's channel.
Can't blame somebody for something like that.
I know that we're here under real stressful circumstances for you. And I appreciate you even accepting our offer for you to sit here. I told you that I would be neutral based on the comment that I made when you first came out, which was that the screw story sounded way too far-fetched, right? And so I didn't know you. I don't know you now sitting here. Even though I've watched a great deal of videos and interviews, I've gotten to know you. Your music is really good. Yes, I did see that. You definitely do have talent. So, and I hope that you do keep pushing forward on that because you do have something. As far as, you know, who you are, you've been catching a lot of backlash due to your announcement and then retraction and then announcement again regarding your 5-year-old son, Alex, right? That's Wesley. So where did we get Alex from?
Alex was a 3-year-old that was at the house that witnessed everything.
Oh, okay. So I was confused because I don't see you post your child a lot, and so I like I said, I'm here.
So these are the accounts of a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old allegedly. So not only did the 5-year-old lie, the 3-year-old lied about witnessing this. The worst part about this is her son's going to grow up and have to relive this. He's going to go through school and get bullied and be like, oh, you're that kid with the mom that said all of this garbage that you're about to listen to.
Very neutral with you today, so I'm not going to assume that I know you or know everything involved. All I know is what you say and what David says as well. Formerly, who goes by Doodie. Okay, so you are FTN Bay, formerly known as Curly Red. Let's start from the beginning. Okay, so how did you and David Doodie come to know each other?
He DM'd me on Instagram.
Okay, and when he DM'd you, did you instantly reply or did you kind of make him wait?
And 4 days later, I replied back to him and then I told him when I met him in the DM that I thought that he was too scary for me.
I could see that.
And I still gave him my number. So here I am today. But anyways, so I gave him my number and then we were talking maybe for like a couple of days and then not even a week later, he flew out to meet me.
Okay. So you guys, I take it you instantly hit it off because I've seen messages that he showed me between you all and you. Yeah. I've seen messages from you. You guys were a lot closer than what the public knows. You guys were exchanging I love you and I love you back. And so this was coming on both sides. And I do want to state for the record that he hasn't told me, despite everything that's been going on, he hasn't told me anything bad about you. I'm not going to lie about that. He's always said that he's always thought you were a good person, but he felt like there were some issues.
Now, this part is important. The significance of the relationship, the way she speaks about it earlier, the exchanging of I love yous and all that stuff, because she completely goes against this later in the interview.
What's going on, I guess, with you emotionally and mentally or something like that. And so he was very vague about that part. So he hasn't told me anything bad about you thus far. And so besides what we're here for today, and if you had to, and it's kind of hard for me to ask you to put that out of your mind because of what you're dealing with now. And I could tell that this is very stressful for you. And I can just look at your body language. I can look at, your face and stuff like that. And like I said, you look much smaller on camera. You said that's due to you losing a ton of weight behind all of this that's going on. And so did you really love him?
Probably not.
Probably not?
No, it was just fast. Everything was fast. Our relationship was extremely toxic. It got really bad.
And this was before you found out?
Right, before I found out. Like, it was really bad. Like, we were only together for like 4 months. Okay. So, the first couple months, always honeymoon months. You don't fight or anything. Everything's perfect the way it's supposed to be. It's too good to be true. And then a little after 2 months, sometime like July 27th, I think it was, I went to Atlanta. And one of his ex-girlfriends pulled up at the house. It was a big fight, a mess. And since then, it just was downhill from that. And it was just me breaking up with him and then him trying to get me back. And then I take him back and I break up with him again for the same thing. I take him back and it's just like never ending. And it was just emotionally draining.
Okay. So let's talk about, because I know you've made, and I've watched some of your videos and people have taken your lives and they're cut and stuff like that.
Okay, so at that point, everything seemed normal. She was looking up, she was talking to her, she was connecting, telling the story. Let's continue.
And so, your original live, I know you had around 20,000 people watching when you first, like, after you made your post and then you went live to talk more in depth about it. And you basically said that it was, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. From the time that you guys broke up, I believe it was in September, correct? Or was it?
September 21st.
Okay.
But we always broke up.
Looking down.
So
we were still talking. Even though I broke up with him, we were still talking. Like, nothing was out of abnormal. Like, I broke up with him, but that was probably like the 5th time I broke up with him. And so he would have still been back, and we would still been probably together for longer if I would have never found this out. It wasn't like we was, like, it was really bad, we were arguing. Like, it wasn't like that. It was just normal stuff, like, just the normal stuff that we was going through.
Okay. So from September 21st, we got October. So around October 1st is when you found out, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you said before you found out that when, Wesley told you that he was touched, violated, you had noticed some behavior in him. What was the behavior? And I've seen you say it online, but you never really went in depth. I mean, you did talk about the diarrhea, but as far as
diarrhea, he was just pooping on himself.
Now, as far as his, like, even though that's a physical symptom, but what about, like...
He was more clingy. He cried more for me. I couldn't drop him off. Before this happened, I could drop...
All unnecessary information brought to the public space and social media for some sort of clout. But your son is going to have... This is terrible. The bullying, the upbringing he's going to have, I hope it's not that. I hope it goes smoothly. I hope no one remembers this. It gets shoved under the rug. I hope this does not, affect his childhood and his adolescence. But when you do stuff like this is publicly shaming and airing out your son in the worst way. This is a lack of accountability from her for being clingy and just hanging on, because the things that she does, or things that she said she does or did throughout this interview in relation to the alleged abuser of your son is not normal at all, and it's not typical for somebody that's trying to protect their child from an abuser.
Off, and then I'd be gone because I travel too, and I'd be busy. And so he would never cry for me. He'd be cool. And then all of a sudden, I'm dropping him off at Alex's house. And, her mom would tell me, he's crying for you more. So he started crying for me more clingy, like just more aggressive, more temper tantrums.
Okay.
So.
Okay, and this was out of the norm for him. Is he normally like a happy kid, or?
Yeah, that sounds like a great kid.
Okay.
A great kid.
All right, y'all, I'm experiencing a little bit of audio issues. I'm going to switch from the wireless to the full wired. Y'all bear with me one second real quick. Ain't never used these motherfuckers. Nigga. Where do I even plug these motherfuckers in this one? Ancient ass motherfuckers. Alright, there we go. Oh, dusty piece of dog shit. Alright, Yo. Can I hear myself in this shit? There we go. All right.
So, I mean, and I'm listening to you as a mother. I have 2 kids myself.
So it
I
plays
have a
out
2-year-old
loud,
and I have a 15-year-old. So, and this is your only child, correct?
Yeah.
You're really shaking right now.
Yeah, because I'm just listening to what's going on. I mean, right now we're here based off of.
All right, I'm not going to get sidetracked. She's shaking because she's capping and she's nervous, and she knows it, and she knows that she retracted half of the things she's already said. So she's being caught in her fabrications right now. or she's about to be caught in her fabrications. That's why she makes little to no eye contact throughout this next portion of the interview. And this is very important because people like Doodie Low, they have to take this type of shit seriously. When people flagrantly lie and slander your name, this is horrible defamation. Putting these type of child abusing charges on you in the media, these are things that are hard to come back from. This will set a new precedent if he actually sues her broke for defamation for this shit, because he's not going to be able to charge her criminally for capping. There hasn't been that type of precedent set yet. Yo, what the fuck is wrong with this bottle? It doesn't even sit flat. God damn it. All right, let's get back into it. Everything going smoothly.
One person is lying, either I or David. We'll just cut straight into the point, because we both can't be right about the situation, because David paints me on the internet.
I'm not doing this. We're going to get some smooth audio out of this. We're going to be patient. We're going to get some smooth audio out of this. Welcome to the night show, y'all. If you're just checking in, we are breaking down a quite obvious fabricator. This is a large cap ceremony right here. She is shaking nervous because she's about to lie through her teeth. I'm just resetting this up because we've had some. Let's get into it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
You're really shaking right now.
Yeah, because.
Nah, we ain't doing that. We getting cleaner audio out here. We gonna be streaming pretty late out here tonight, so y'all hold with me real quick. Y'all hold tight. All right, let's get back into it. Jesus fucking Christ, let's get back into it.
I'm just listening to what's going on. I mean, right now we're here based off of one person is lying, either I or David. We'll just cut straight into the point because we both can't be right about the situation because David paints me on the internet. I heard what he says to you, right? I know what he says to me. I know what it is. But on the internet, David goes on the internet to say that I am making all this up. I'm maliciously doing this. I'm mad because he didn't want me. Why is he going on around the internet saying that we was never in a relationship? Why he sat in his chair in front of you and said, I didn't even really like her like that. I mean, I guess she was pretty, but then tell you off camera that we was in a whole relationship. I love you, this, that, and the third. But on public, for everybody to see, he paints me like I'm this crazy ex-girlfriend who he didn't want, and that's why I'm doing this. Because you have to give me a reason for wanting to do this. There's no reason. There has to be a reason for a girl just being like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to say my son got raped by you, and I'm going to put it on the internet. I'm going to ruin your life. Why would I do that? So if me and him were in a relationship, we were telling each other.
What do I always say about people when they say, why would I do this? Why would I do that when they're accused of something instead of just explaining what it was? The why would I do that is unnecessary. We don't care. Just what was it then? Vintage lying tactic.
We love each other, and then my son tells me something and this is what's going on, that makes more sense. But because he wants to paint me as I'm crazy, he has to say, oh, I ain't like her like that. He has to downplay our whole relationship. So we're talking about who's more truthful in this situation, and David's sitting here playing like we was never together.
Why do you care about someone downplaying the relationship if they touched your son? That's the only thing you should give a fuck about. Fuck all that next shit. Why would anybody be concerned about any of that?
To say, oh, I ain't like her like that. He has to downplay our whole relationship. So we're talking about who's more truthful in this situation, and David's sitting here playing like we was never together. Well, so that's making the narrative in the media like, oh, she's doing this for this, that, and the third. But that's a lie. I'm not doing that because he didn't want me, because that's not the truth. I walked away from him, as I always did, and he begged to come back to me. But on the internet, I'm crazy and he don't want me, and I'm just like a fangirl. In court documents, in our civil suit, he says that I fought him. In our restraining order paperwork that he put on me after I put one out on him. So that's another thing that he lied to you about. He said that he made a restraining order against me and then I put one on him. That's not true. I filed mine on November 1st. As soon as our police investigation was wrapped up, I went to go do it. I no longer had to be in contact with him because I was contacting David with the police on a phone to try to get him to confess. So after my investigation was done with them, I said, okay, I don't need to talk to him no more. I went to go get a restraining order. And then on November 11th, he put one out on me. And then his restraining order to me was I was physically violent with him. Put it 3 times in restraining order, got him in court, asked him under oath. He goes, oh, it was a typo. Why are you lying in court documents? If someone's saying that my son is saying that you touched them, why are you lying about different things? There should be no lies that come out of your mouth, especially when everybody is looking at you. So the fact that he paints me in the media as someone who's crazy and this and that is giving everybody a reason, oh, this is why she's doing that. We talk about money. He's never gave me no money. Like, he's never even bought me a Payless flip-flop. Like, if you want to be technical, David has asked me for money 3 times, and I've always given it to him, and he owes me $2,000 to this day. So it's not about me getting money. I'm losing money. Like, going to court, like him doing all that stuff, that's attorney fees. Like, that's not me making money. And then clout. I was bigger than him. Like, I'm bigger than him. Like, I've been in the media. I've been in headlines. Like, I didn't need him for that. I've dated men that are bigger than him. More famous, more richer than him. Like, come on, why? Man. Our relationship was 4 months. Like, it was nothing. There's nothing that would make me want to go out of my way.
All all the irrelevant things she's bringing to the table. See, I lost my train of thought. I'm a little annoyed because this thing took forever to fucking stop. I'm getting defeated by my technology every stream. Jesus Christ.
I was bigger than him. Like, I'm bigger than him. Like, I've been on the court, like him doing all that stuff. That's attorney fees. Like, that's not me making money and then clout. I was bigger than him. Like, I'm bigger than him. Like, I've been in the media. I've been in headlines. Like, I didn't need him.
She is fixated and focused on the wrong things. Your child allegedly was abused, and you're talking about you're bigger than the abuser clout-wise. Oh, you're not doing it for clout because you're bigger than him. You've had headlines. We don't know who the hell you are. This is a no-name brand telling you you're a no-name brand. We don't know you.
Him for that. I've dated men that are bigger than him, more famous, more richer than him. Like, why? Our relationship was 4 months. Like, it was nothing. There's nothing that would make me want to go out of my way and just do something like that when I have my own brand, I have my own name, I have my own money, I have my own everything. And I'm just going to go drag my son into this. I don't even have my son on my social media because I don't like social media. It's not, everybody already knows who I am. It's not safe for my son. I keep it as a safety. You know, I'm very protective of my son. So I have a man painting me on the media, but if he's so innocent, what's the point of doing that? Just say you didn't do it. But
just say you didn't do it. All right, this is what I was gonna say before, and I lost my fucking train of thought. Keep in mind, y'all, he passed the lie detector test, right? They asked him these questions. Did he do it? He passed the lie detector test. Tasha K has the results. She's later in this interview, she's going to refuse. FTN Bay is going to refuse to take the results. So he passed the lie detector test. The police, there was no DNA evidence when the police did the report in their inspection. So by all accounts, he was proven innocent, and she admitted it that her son lied, and she's still going on this tirade trying to sully his name with the slander.
That's not what he's going to do. He's going to sit here and try to make everybody look at me and take the tension off of him and go, boom, she's crazy. She's like the typical thing niggas do when you call them out. They tell you they this, that, and the third.
That was a lot. Well, let's just cut to the chase, because I can tell like, you are very worked up, and I'm trying my best because I don't want to trigger you in any kind of way, because I can't imagine being in your position. My mom was in your position because I was touched as a child, and I just couldn't imagine being on the other side of that coin. And so as a result, you know, I just move very differently. And if this happened, because no one has been charged or anything like that.
Not
and if
yet.
this happened, and I know that, and I'm
Not
just saying,
yet.
and if this happened,
it did happen. So you're saying if it happened in my face. It's not if it happened.
Okay.
It happened to my son. There is no if and buts about anything happening to my son at all. There's way too much trauma going on with my son for anybody to deny anything happening to him. The only reason.
Now, this is absolute insanity for her to keep pushing that it happened. It happened. It's not hearsay. It's not alleged. It happened after she retracted it and said that he was lying after the results came in. The DNA results came in from the police. The lie detector results came in. He was not guilty, and she's continuously pushing this. We can't have shit like this happening. And it seems, to me, it just seems like she's salty from the relationship going left. And if this type of shit happens and girls are just able to just do this and lie repetitively without any repercussions, that's a problem. So what we're going to need to do is to have this motherfucker, what's his name again? God damn it. Yo, my memory is just off tonight. Doodie Low. We're going to need him to follow up with that defamation case and make sure that this sets a precedence for this type of shit to not reoccur if they're just capping. Because if something happened to the child, then we would be pushing for justice. You can't be out here touching little children out here. But it is clear by all accounts and all evidence that she's lying. She's just sitting up here capping, and then she's trying to act like, oh, it's all the child. The child made it up. And then she doubles down after and says, nope, it actually happened to him. He's going through trauma. Like, she can't make up her mind here.
Why David did not get arrested was because we did not have the truth. The truth is that my son was penetrated by David. That did happen, but what was used was a lie. The reason why the screws sounded so crazy is because that was made up by a 5-year-old. That's why.
What took me.
Okay, but see, and then you said, oh, kids when they know it, they.
So basically, she goes into this. She speaks about the child making up the lie about the screws and the parts, but the Doodie Lowe actually did touch her. That's what she's saying. And then later she says that Doodie Lowe manipulated her to saying that he didn't actually touch her or touch the child on the phone when she admitted it and confessed after she got the lie detector results saying that he didn't. And the like, this is crazy. This is insanity.
Know it, they're going to say it. That's not true. A lot of kids don't even speak on it. A lot of kids grow up, they don't talk about it. A lot of kids say stuff not believed. My son at the end of the day didn't want to tell me, which is why.
He didn't. The son was having problems. He was shitting himself. And he didn't want to tell her. He didn't know how to tell her. So he made up some bullshit. Allegedly. According to what we were observing here. And then it led to this, and he couldn't. There was no privacy. She didn't keep nothing in house. She brought it to the biggest platform that you can. She brought it to social media, got on YouTube, and now this is going to be a big story when he just was having an embarrassing moment as a child, as a 5-year-old.
Why he was pooping on himself. My son was pooping on himself because he was scared to tell me. It was a result because when he told me on October 1st, pooping stopped. So when I went into that whole police process, then my son started having very bad nightmares. I'm talking, I sleep with him every night. He wakes up in the middle of the night crying. And then it's times where during the day he would see the nightmares, the characters and the nightmares in real life. And he would break down and cry and I'd jump or something because it was that real to him. So the nightmares that my son was having, and this is on record because he's a therapist, is of a brown-skinned bald guy busting in his room to kill him with a knife. So my son is having dreams about nightmares about David. So pooping, nightmares about David, behavioral problems at school to where his guidance counselor and his teacher had to call and say, look, what's going on with Wesley? Wesley's in class. 1 second he's okay. The next minute he's not. So I had to tell them what was going on. So now his school is working with him. So my son, there is no lie. There's no lie or no that happened to my son.
So why after you put out videos of your son confessing to you?
Right, and I'm gonna talk about that too because you said that I said to Alex, to Wesley, don't say it's Alex because that's bad. That's not what I said. So I'm like, what? We can't lie on Alex, okay? Because if she didn't do it, we can't say that she did it. Because that's really, really bad. And you can't blame.
So this is Tasha K pulling up the video of what she is denying right now. So let me get back into what she actually denied and let me get into the video.
To Wesley, don't say it's Alex because that's bad. That's not what I said. So I'm like, what? We can't lie on Alex, okay? Because if she didn't do it, we can't say that she did it. Because that's really, really bad. And you can't blame somebody for something like that, okay? You can't, okay? So I want you to tell me what's happened. Start from where you were. What happened? Please tell me what happened.
So where I were is...
I said, do not lie on Alex because that's bad. I said, do not lie on anyone because that's bad. And that video is a manipulated clip because that video.
Well, that's why you're here.
Yeah, well, the video was manipulated. I mean, I sent him that video because I was in a control call with the police and they wanted me to try to get him to confess, which I knew wasn't going to work anyways. So I'm talking to him on the phone, whatever. He's too calm. He's just like, oh, you really believe that? Are you serious? You think I could do that? Like, oh, it's a misunderstanding. Go pick up Wes from school. Let's talk about it. And I was like, what do you mean let's talk about it? Like we're not going to talk about it. Like, so I'm hyped, whatever. So he's like, oh, I want to hear Wesley say himself. So I sent him that video. So that video was 6 to 8 minutes long. So in the beginning of the video is literally a reiteration from what I already spoke to my son about off camera.
So David posted that video first. You posted a recording.
Yeah, I posted a recording. I never posted that video.
Okay, so the recording is separate.
The recording was like a month after.
Video.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 2 separate recordings.
It's a lot of different recordings and videos. That was the initial time he ever said that it was David. That was the first time he ever said it was David, and I was in shock.
And you sent that to Doodie Low, and then he used that to say that, and it came across.
I coached
that
him, but
it did.
I don't understand how that came. I don't understand how it came across. If you're not putting anybody, you're not looking at it for what it is. You're looking at it to find fault in it. It was my son just told me that my ex-boyfriend did something like raped him, like sexually assaulted him.
It did sound like coaching. I actually heard the entire audio. I have the raw audio. I might have to play that later. It definitely sounded like she was coaching him into saying specific things in the raw audio. We got to play that raw audio.
And I'm in shock. Like, I don't know what's going on. My mind is racing. I'm trying to figure out when it happened. When was he here? When are the dates? I'm trying to figure out everything. So I grabbed the phone. I already knew what had happened to him. I found out on the 1st. This would have been October 2nd, that night of October 2nd, which was a Saturday night. Because I'm still asking him questions so I can understand the story. Before I go to the police, I'm not going to just go to the police and just run and say, hey, something happened to my son. Like, no, I had to make sure that it made sense to me. Now, the screws might not have made sense. It really didn't make sense. But the only reason why I believe this because, 1, I believe something happened to my son. I know my son. So I know he's not lying about that. And then 2, my son really did describe screws. And then he said he threw them outside. So I really walked outside with him. And he's like, I threw it over there. So I go and I really found.
She really found screws. Great. You said you wanted to make sure you believed everything, got your story in order before you went to the cops. The screws would have been so fucking obvious that it was cap. Are you kidding me? It would have been so evident. Screws. Sharp screws that go into walls. Screws. Up a child's ass. Not noticeable. Are you out of your goddamn mind?
Screws on the floor. So I picked him up and I said, was it this? And he was like, yeah, who was that? That was a lie. He just said that he threw something outside.
What was a lie? So
the screws.
I guess we're having a hard time from the videos because in the beginning, my son said that it was screws. That's what it was. So we did the whole investigation, and that's what we believed that it was. So he lied or you lied?
First of all, I never lied. These are not my accusations. But it's my son. Everything is coming from my son. Okay. Why would I lie?
Okay.
Why would I make up something like that? What do I look like? Okay. Like, I'm not, that's not what this is. And if we're talking about truthful people, like, I'm not spinning narratives on the internet. So no, I didn't lie. This is what my son said. And this is what I believe because I took a whole lie detector test to show that I believed what my son said. And that's what it was. Now I have a brain. So just because I believe my son does not mean I never question the screws. Of course I question it. I question it when.
Brittany, listen, I know that social media has had a lot to say, okay? And I've already told you how I felt towards the situation, and I want everybody to understand, okay? And so I know there's a lot that's coming out, but I want us to see the bigger picture.
Okay, so the bigger picture is that my son was raped by David, period, point blank. Like, I have to say allegedly because he has yet to be charged. You can say allegedly, but it is now a new investigation going on.
So there's a new investigation because I did talk with I got the investigation.
So for original one.
Okay, this was the original one, and they said that they didn't find fault, or basically from what they investigated, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I am declining this case because there is not reasonable likelihood of conviction. And I viewed the evidence on evidence.com. The doctor at the hospital examined the victim and said there was no sign of any physical trauma to the victim's anus. There were x-rays done which revealed that there were no foreign objects with metal debris present, and the doctor noted that there was nothing abnormal and the victim was healthy. The nails were tested for potential. You've already said that was a lie. But they were tested. They didn't find any evidence on that. They also said the victim participated in a forensic interview, which is your son. The interviewer asked him if someone put him, and he replies, David, he's bad. He put 3 screws filled up in my bottom, and it feel not good. My mom wasn't home. She was getting her hair done. She asked him if anyone told him what to say at the interview, and he replied, only my mom. Mm-hmm. And he said that his mom told him because she knew what the subject did.
Because she knew what he did.
Okay.
Knew what he did.
Because she knew what he did. You're right. Okay. And so he told me that his mom lets him stay at home by himself lots of times, and he is allowed to use the stove to cook when he is alone. He then described to me how he makes macaroni and cheese on the stove when he is home alone.
What the fuck?
And there is no legal way to prove what happened in this case. The only evidence anything happened is the testimony of now the 6-year-old victim, who cannot describe this incident with any detail or consistency.
All right, so boom, first point, medical examination. So for one, they do not do a forensic examination unless it has happened between 72 hours. They didn't do anything to my son at the hospital, but do x-rays. Now, x-rays do not show anything but metal and bone. And all they also did was turn around, spread his cheeks, and look at his butthole. There was nothing there. I knew there was nothing there. That's all the tests that he did. There was no camera, no nothing put up him, nothing. So that doesn't show anything. And then I did my due diligence, and I went and took him to a whatever. They deal with the colon and the large intestine and the anus. Okay. And that doctor told me that I would have had to bring my son within 2 weeks of the assault. That by the time I had seen this specialist, it was 3 months later. And they said that I would have had to have 2 weeks. And so you have to understand how the anus works. Tissues, they heal. So everyone's like, oh, it'll be tears. No, that's not true. It heals. They heal, and especially for kids, very fast. And you don't want to believe me? Google it. It's a simple
listen, I'm not
Google
here.
search. Okay, so that's one. Okay. Just because there's no physical evidence does not mean the crime did not happen. There's plenty of people that have gotten raped and they come back months later and they say somebody raped them and there's no physical evidence, but it does not mean that crime did not happen. Number 2, my son, that question was not, did someone tell you to lie? Because they always ask the kids when they interview, is anybody making you lie? My son did not say that I told him to say this. And I don't care how the police worded it. I could care less about how they worded it, because the police do not think I'm lying. And I, have proof of that. I can show you, but I'm not going to play it on the camera. But for 2, if I was making this up and the police thought I was lying, I'd be in jail. It's called perjury.
Well, let me ask you
and
a
then
question.
also my son's testimony. He's 6 years old.
Hold on.
So you say you were assaulted.
She is not responding.
So
Perjury
if you were assaulted at 5 years old, I don't know what happened to you. But for my son being a boy who was assaulted by his mother's boyfriend as a man, and my son is 5 years old, and the first thing he told me about how he felt was, I felt sad because no one had.
All right. Cool. Right in the middle of that, where was I? I gotta find a timestamp on that one. I gotta pull that one back up. It's always the night streams that I'm thinking are gonna run smoothly, and then some fuck shit like this happens. Honestly, at some point, Tasha K has enough, but we're gonna see this girl re-spin her story after Tasha K tries to ask some more questions to get some details. Let me just pull up this video one more time. You can't do the things you do, admit to the lies that were lies, and then expect anyone to believe you, especially if the lies were in relation.
I spoke to my son with David, and my son lied. And my son lied. And my son lied.
Stop it. Get some help.
To help me, he don't give a shit. Like, he want to play me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was me, and it's not me.
All right. Let's get back into it. Where the fuck were we?
Teacher had to call and say, look, what's going on, Wesley? Wesley's in class. 1 second he's okay. The next minute he's
no, that shit was way too
But I'm trying my best because I don't want to trigger you in any kind of
way too far.
Social media. It's not, everybody already knows who I am. It's not safe for my son. I keep it as a safety. You know, I'm very protective.
What the fuck was me? All right. I'm going to have to off screen this shit.
Under oath, he goes, oh, it was a typo. Why are you lying in court documents? If someone's saying that my son is saying that you touched them, why are you lying about it? My son at the end, that? Are you serious? You think I could do that? Like, oh, it's a misunderstanding. Go pick up Wes from school. Let's talk about it. That's bad.
If she didn't do it, we can't say that she did it.
I said, do not lie on any. I want to hear Wesley say it himself. So I sent him that video. So that video.
Use that.
I already knew what had happened to him. I found out on the 1st. This would have been October 2nd, that night of October 2nd, which was a Saturday night, because I'm still asking him questions so I can understand the story. Before I go to the police, I'm not going to just go to the police and just run and say, hey, something happened to my.
Way further than that.
Hang on.
They also said the victim participated in a forensic interview, which is your son. The interviewer asked him if someone put him and
I heard that.
Any evidence on that? They also said the victim participated in a forensic. The testimony of now the 6-year-old victim who cannot describe this incident.
I heard this.
There. That's all. Have 2 weeks, and so you have to understand how the anus works. Tissues, they heal. So everyone's like, oh, it'll be tears. No, that's not true. It heals. They heal, and especially for kids, very fast. And you know, you don't want to believe me? Google it. It's a simple. Listen, I'm not
Google
here. Search. Okay, so that's one.
Okay.
Just because there's no physical evidence does not mean the crime did not happen. There's plenty of people that have gotten raped and they come back.
All right, let's move forward.
I'm going to play it on the camera, but for 2, if I was making this up and the police thought I was lying, I'd be in jail. It's called perjury.
Well, let me ask you
and then also my son's testimony. He's 6 years old. So you say you were assaulted. So
that thing that she said was just not the truth at all. If you are coming with a case for your child that you're saying your child alleged these things and your child is saying these things and you have it on record that your child's saying it because you recorded it on the phone and you bring it to the police and the police feel that there's not enough information here or there's not enough evidence here to actually pursue any type of charges and they're like, nah, we're not going to get any conviction off of this. This doesn't seem like it's true. We're not moving forward. They're not going to charge you for perjury. This isn't trial and you're not on the stand lying through your teeth. It's not the same. You didn't even get the charges pressed.
If you were assaulted at 5 years old, I don't know what happened to you, but for my son being a boy who was assaulted by his mother's boyfriend as a man, and my son is 5 years old, and the first thing he told me about how he felt was, I felt sad because no one had ever done that to me before. My son, just because his mind and his age are 2 different things. My son knows what happened to him, and he knows that he was violated. So at the end of the day,
he's always looking down when he's saying these things.
When we say, oh, allegedly and all this, that, and the third, like, no. And my son's statement, he's processing trauma. He's processing trauma. We got the truth out of him from his nightmares. It was him having.
Tasha K, she says she has to say allegedly now. So Tasha K ain't playing anymore. She ain't trying to get sued for another $4 million.
This, that, and the third, like, no. And my son's statement, he's processing trauma. He's processing trauma. We got the truth out of him from his nightmares. It was him having the nightmares and him having a therapist that had to go through his nightmares to then him say it wasn't the screws. And then we get the now story that's now being investigated. And then I call a 3-year-old. So Alex, the baby girl, was always at the house. So yeah, when my son first told me, he first said, I was playing with Alex and I fell and hit a stick. I took that story and got everything out of it that I could get out by talking to my son. My son didn't just come out and be like, oh yeah, this is what happened. Like, it was hard for him. And I can't express how children express trauma. And my son playing in the police station, he was lying anyways, because it wasn't the screws. That wasn't the truth. He wasn't ready to tell the truth yet. So all that first investigation, and David want to come throw it in everybody's face. David knows that we know it's not the screws. David knows we know the real story, because I had court with him. I had restraining order court that happened sometime before you in his interview. And I asked him under oath. That was my last question. I said, if it was not screws that you used to penetrate my son, would it have been your penis? David did not answer. And then I looked at David and I asked him again. He did not answer. And I asked him again. He didn't answer. I got kicked out. Because I was about to jump out my chair. Because I'm asking you if you rape my son on oath and you're looking at me and you're not saying nothing. And that, I don't need anybody to tell me.
But let me ask you this. I just want to ask you this, okay? If your son told a story about falling on a stick, and then the screws, and then you found the screws, and you come out and, you know, the screws wasn't true, and now it's the penis. And let me ask you a question. Do you let him stay at home by himself and cook macaroni and cheese?
Obviously, that's a lie. My son does that. He wants to be older than what he is, so he likes to think he can do things he can't do.
You know this could have got you investigated.
Her son seems like he's saying the most. He's cooking, he's doing all these things by himself. I'm not gonna speak up too much about the kid, but she says all these things. She wanted to jump across the table and snatch him up because she believes, you know, vehemently that he touched her son. But yet she's entertaining hour-long conversations with this guy and then putting her son on the phone after all of these things take place. None of this is consistent.
Right?
No, because the police don't believe it. See, I'm not a bad mom. See,
I never said you was a bad mom.
Okay, so the police know that I'm dead ass serious about my son, and I'm dead ass serious about this.
Okay.
So it's not I could get investigated or anything like that. I know what my son's problem is. I know why he does that. I know why he says certain things like that. That's irrelevant.
Let me ask you a question.
All of that is irrelevant.
Let me ask you another question. So after you came out and you retracted, you made a very emotional...
I never retracted.
You said your son lied.
Yeah.
Okay.
The video we see at the start, full video.
So,
not the bits and pieces.
Excuse
this is horrible.
my demeanor, but
Just keep in mind everything we just heard. And then now listen to this.
Had to do it now. Because I'm going to talk about the situation. Whew. I am like really nervous because it's a lot of crazy shit going on. And wow, has it been a roller coaster of a journey.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
The fuck said that?
So after my son was having problems using the bathroom, and I asked him what was going on with him, and I talked to him, and he tells me that David stuck him, and yeah, I went to the police, and I did everything I could with the police because I strongly believe my child. Like I tried to talk to David. David really didn't, he reacted to it differently, so he didn't really want to help me type of shit. So I'm just like, all right, this is what my son's saying.
Bro, what you talking
He ain't really trying to help me. He's not really trying to help me clear his name or clear him out of the situation. He's not, like he's turning it on me and telling me that
why are you concerned with talking to the man to help him clear his name after he allegedly touched your child and you claim to believe that he actually did? But you're trying to call him to reach out to him to help him clear his name. Make that make sense. In the words of Tommy, make that make sense.
I'm lying and try to make me look like I'm this and I'm that, and I'm this and I'm that, and I'm not. Like, I just literally was going off what my son said. Like, it's what my son said. It's what I believed. So I'm going off what he believed. So I'm trying to get the help from him to figure it out, and he's just giving me guilty. Like, he's just not really trying to help me, and he's bashing me, making it look like I'm making it up, and I never was. So I come to social media because I'm looking at it like the nigga, my son is out here walking free. Like, I'm not gonna just let him be out here walking free. He don't give to help me. He don't give a shit. Like, he want to play me like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was me and it's not me, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. So I came on the internet and I exposed him. Because as a mom, as a single mom, like, I don't have a lot of brothers. Like, I don't have family and shit. Like, I don't got a lot of people that can help me with shit. So I felt like, okay, I'm not getting no help or whatever. So I came to social media. So I came to social media and said what I said. And me and him, everything that happened between him and I, that is very much so public that I don't have to go in and out about, you know what I mean? Like, he said what he said, I said what I said. We're in and out of court together. We both have attorneys. Like, it was something that he said he was serious about, and it was something that I was serious about. So David's family reached out to me and was like, we're going to make sure he takes a lie detector test. We're going to figure this shit out. So David went and David took a lie detector test today, and he passed. He passed with the person that I went to, and he passed with the person that he went to in Chicago. So David called me, his family called me, everybody told me David passed the test. He is not lying about, doing that. If I agree with the test that I went to, and I'm a woman by my word, I'd apologize. So I talked to David on the phone for like a couple hours, and then I spoke to my son with David, and my son lied. And I don't know why he lied.
All right, so it happened again. It happened again. Technical difficulties. Just tried to pause it to give my input. It happened again. We're gonna re-upload the video and get that shit going because we finished in that reaction. That is ridiculous. You spoke to the man for 3 hours after he passed the lie detector test and it proved that he did not touch your child, along with police forensics after the initial police reporting. You spoke to him for 3 hours. You got your son on the line. You confirm and acknowledge that your son lied. And then you come to Tasha K and say he manipulated you. You come to Tasha K and says how could you say he manipulated you after you spoke to him for 3 hours and he got the results from the lie detector test, along with the other results, the medical results? But he manipulated you, and you let him speak to your son, the alleged abuser, and then you come on Tasha K and say, nope, not alleged, he did it, while fighting a defamation case. Yo, stay away from girls like this. Stay away from girls like this. The signs are all there. You will see the signs really early. You'll see the wild behavior that's abnormal. Here, the child claiming to cook for himself at 6. She goes back and forth with saying the child is 5 and 6, 5, 6. One moment he's 5, the other moment he's 6. I don't know if he recently turned 6 or something, and she just mistaken the age or something. I don't know what it is, but this situation. Oh, what the fuck? This shit not working at all now. I'm going outside on the stream. All right, we're gonna do something. Oh no, that's not gonna work. Why would I think that would work? Jesus Christ.
Stop it. Get some help. Come on, man.
Nope, not there. Jesus Christ. Fuck.
I'm about to add that hoe out.
Shit getting out of hand now.
Jesus Christ.
All right, fuck the reaction. We getting into it, but it's taking a long time, so fuck it. For right now, we gonna wait. I'm just gonna sit here and wait in pain, and I'm gonna speak my mind about this thought. But actually, nah. I'm gonna make it more about I'm not gonna go in on her. Fuck that. It's more about women like her. I don't know her individually. It's more about what women like her stand for. She didn't get her way in the relationship. And then she wants to flex and do that. Oh, I've been with more lit niggas than him that had more clout, that had more money, that had X, Y, and Z. But it seems to me, in my opinion, that things didn't go her way in the relationship. She kind of clinged. And she tried anything. I don't know what happened for her to take this type of extreme route. Of course, the son was alleging these things and was having the shitting problems, but there's something that we're missing here, that if it gets brought to light, everything will be like so obvious, like, oh, okay, That's why this is going on this way. This is why she's so persistent, although she has all the evidence that points in the contrary. And then she admits that her son lied. So what is this angle? Is she trying to avoid the defamation suit by doubling down and saying, nope, it wasn't her. Her son said this. Is this why she's throwing her son under the bus? Men on a whole need to have standards. Just because you're attracted to a girl and you think, oh, I would fuck this girl, doesn't mean you have to. You can pass on the play. There's certain girls that you look at and you're like, yeah, you're crazy. You're not worth it. Why am I going to deal with all this craziness? You start seeing these abusive habits. Women with children already. That's already territory you don't want to be stepping in. A lot of people love the single mothers because they're easy access and they're available only at certain times at night. So it's like you can have your way with them. Just pop in at like 11 when the child's asleep and, do your thing and leave. You don't have to stay over. You don't have all that extra bullshit. So people love targeting the single mothers just for sex. But for the most part, you need a barrier to entry. You can't be simply attracted to a girl and gloss over all the red flags, especially if you're going to be dealing with this girl for months upon months, potentially years, taking a girl seriously. Got to avoid women like her. Women like her, and there's a lot of women like her nowadays. It's common. A lot of young single mothers. I don't know how young she is, but 5-6-year-old child, she pushed that kid out pretty early. She looks pretty young. I'm just thinking about the shit that the son's going to have to deal with growing up. Especially because shit on the internet don't really die. This is an embarrassing moment he'd rather have, kept in-house, in family. Oh, this shit really not trying to let me get to this reaction, huh? You know what's weird? What the fuck? What is this? You know what? Let's get into this. We ain't going out like this. We definitely ain't going out like this. Nope. 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 Yo, you bitch ass device. If you don't play the goddamn. Yo, I seen women on Twitter going off. Talking about why don't men fight for their kids as much as they fight for their woman, their wife or whatever. Seeing the whole Kanye thing. Kanye fighting for Kim Kardashian, doing the most, doing this weird shit, coming at Pete Davidson, calling him skeet. When it comes to that situation of why do men fight harder for women than they do for their wife, generally when a man fucks up or something, he cheats on his woman, he has to fight back to get her because there's consent in a relationship. You got to be willing to, take on that battle. Fighting for your kids, y'all got to take in the question. Why do you fight harder for your woman than you do to fight for your kids? Why is there a fight for your kids? Why do men have to fight to see their kids? They have to fight to be in their kid's life. What is the fight for? You're fighting a nigga from taking care of his responsibilities? The fuck do you mean there's a fight? why don't you fight for your kids? Bitch, what do you mean? You want me to fight? What are you talking about? What is this shit? And they're making it a trend, and girls are retweeting it and actively liking it, and they're like, oh my God, men don't fight for their kids. It's like, the fuck? Let men see their kids. Like, fight for their kids. So what that comes down to is generally a lot of women try to, strong arm the kids or strong arm the man using the kids. Oh, the girl wants the man. She wants compliance out of the man. She wants the man to do certain things. She wants the man to be back in her life. So she uses the kids against him and says, fight for your kids. Why aren't men fighting for their kids? Because you're essentially just manipulating the shit out of what you want out of him using the kids. And you're saying, why wouldn't he fight for the kids?
What?
Jesus Christ.
Man.
Shit getting out of hand now.
The reaction's done. Video ain't loading. We going outside here.
Get a job, nigger.
Y'all get the point, though. We got enough of that. I gotta start a next stream. I gotta do part 2. We didn't get enough of that. I need to see the rest. There's so much more. It gets so bad. This girl starts talking over Tasha K, cutting her off, getting rude with her. We got to get into the rest of this. I'm going to have to start a part 2. I have no choice at this moment. It don't want to load for some reason on the stream, but we definitely going to start a part 2. Listen, y'all. You know what? I'm going to save it. We don't have a large enough audience for that right now. I'm going to get the Discord going so we can have better shows. I'm really just trying to, always elevate the platform, integrate new things. So, probably going to have to start the next live stream. Yep. All right.
Giggity giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.